Hey, NBA2K fans. This video, we're going to talk about how to play with a MyCareer player in MyLeague mode. Now, you might want to do this if you don't like the story mode of MyCareer, don't want to pay VC, not worried about playing online with your MyPlayer. Whatever the reason, this is kind of how you can go about doing it. And stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to show you a special twist on how I like to do it. It's a little different, but you might like the way I do it too. If you're new to the channel, I'm Coach 2K. Click subscribe while you're here. Click the bell to get notified whenever I upload any new videos so you don't miss a single one, including my fictional MyLeague series with Byron Dantley. I'll link to that up in the upper corner there. So you got to start here by creating a custom MyLeague. And I always load a special roster in. And for this particular project, we're going to use Celtic LG34. His attention to detail roster. And I'm going to use this one because it's a day one roster and it corrects a lot of things that the community over at Operation Sports felt like needed to be corrected. And I'm using a day one roster because we're going to sim the entire first season. And so we want to start with a fresh roster at the beginning of the season. So not going to make any changes to the teams or anything. But we are going to load some special progression sliders by Barncore called Barnsey Progressions, and this is going to be important because you're going to want your MyPlayer to progress automatically. You're going to want if he gets injured, I mean, all that stuff can happen. Same thing about contracts. A lot of things go in there, and then you're going to choose a team. And so I'm going to choose my Pacers, and you're going to set everything on auto except game participation. And that's because you're not playing a GM role here. You are actually just going to be a player. And so you're just kind of subject to whatever everybody decides is going to happen to you in the league. Maybe you'll play, maybe you get traded. Who knows? And then once that's set up, you're going to load a draft class. You can auto-generate the rookies in the draft, or you can load a draft class, whatever your preference is, and then you're going to choose prospect scouting here, and you're going to go into the draft prospects, and you're going to look for a player that has the position that you want to play. So like here's a shooting guard, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to edit this shooting guard however I want. Now I'm just going to edit a couple things here, my name and my appearance and accessory, but you could go in and you could actually, if you want, really overhaul this player with any attributes, tendencies, signature skills, jump shot, position, age, birthday, whatever you want to do, you've got the flexibility to do that. Now, I'm not a huge expert on editing rosters. I know a good one when I play it, but so in this particular example, I'm just going to pick a player and then make sure he's one of the top players so that way he'll be drafted in the off season. And so I wouldn't want to choose a player that's not rated very high. So I don't necessarily want someone that's going to go number one, but I do want someone that's going to get drafted in the first round. I mean, if you want somebody drafted in the second round, might be more of a challenge. You can see I'm going to go in and change my appearance here. And then I'm going to take off my headbands so it looks more like the MyPlayer you saw at the beginning. And it could be that you want to match up your MyPlayer to that one, maybe not. So here you can see I've taken off the headband, and there he is. So there is Coach 2K, and he's going to be in the draft class. I always turn stories on, that way you show up in the social media feed, and there you can see now I'm in the draft class, ready to be drafted in the off season. And what's really cool about this, I don't know what team I'm going to go to. So provides an element of surprise. And then I'm going to simulate through the whole season here and get to the end of the season. And then we're going to advance to the playoffs. And once we're in the playoffs, then we're also going to sim the playoffs because we're not going to play. We're only worried about getting to the off season here. So you see Giannis got to be the MVP. So we're going to sim the playoffs. And looks like the Warriors and the Celtics made it. The Warriors are going to win the NBA championship. Curry was the MVP. And then we're going to advance to the off season. And then if you want to go through these kind of step by step, you can. But what we want to do, we want to advance to the NBA draft. And you can see here the Pistons are drafting right now in the 19th position. And I got chose by the Pistons in the first round at number 19. And you can see there they're talking about my three-point shot. And so now I was drafted number 19. I almost went to the Pacers. That was pretty close. I almost didn't have to make any other changes. But I'm going to our division rival, the Detroit Pistons. And then what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to sim to the Summer League, because you got to do that in order to get the option to make a couple other changes that we want to make. And then you're actually going to play in the Summer League and start your career in the Summer League before the NBA season, just like all the other rookies do. So you can see here, Pistons have control. Before I do that, I'm going to reload in some game sliders. You know, you can play just on default, you know, difficulty if you want. I always load in Mike Marsh, Mike with 3 eyes, and I like his game sliders, so I'm going to put those in the file. So you can see he has one set of roster settings here, and so I've loaded those in. And then after that, what we got to do is we got to choose, you know, right now we're controlling the Pacers in the MyLeague file. So we got to change that from the Pacers to the Pistons, because that's where my MyPlayer is. And so you got to choose Pistons, make them user controlled, then turn off the Pacers. But then on top of that, what you got to do, you got to go into the Pistons and you got to put everything back on auto except for game participation. You got to leave that on manual. And that kind of resets everything. So then, again, you're in a mode where it's just going to be you in the file. And so I got that all set to auto except for game participation. Because when the game starts, you want to be prompted to play. You don't want those games to sim. And then we're going to set our position settings. And we're going to set that to player lock to Coach 2K in the file. And that way I'll only play, that's the only thing that's going to happen in the game. The rest of the game will be simmed, just like it happens in MyCareer. Sometimes I know you can watch the game in MyCareer. Now, what I like to do instead of that is I like to load a custom draft class, because on Operation Sports, some guys put together some good files. And so this one's JB's fictional draft classes. And so instead of loading in an auto-generated one, I load in one that somebody spent some time working on. And I also don't worry about putting me in the file. What I do, I pick a team that I'm going to be on, and then I just decide that whoever the team drafts, so here the Pacers going to draft here in a second, then that's who I'm going to be in my MyCareer. And I really don't know who it's going to be. And so you can see here Redding went before me, or before my team. So here the Pacers are going to draft a guy named Justin Denman. He's a 6'9" power forward from Duke University. And so that's what I'm going to be. So I'm not going to worry about being me. I thought this was a more unique approach. You can see some of the badges and things, ratings that this power forward has. And then, you know, whether you do it the way I like to do it or whether you do it with your own MyPlayer, then you start your action in the Summer League. And you can see me here getting a rebound, putting it back in for 2 points. And so there you see me getting a block. And so I'm anxious to see what this MyPlayer, or this Justin Denman's got. So, but we had a pretty good game in the first Summer League game of the year. And so now it's off to see if we can make this player Rookie of the Year, see what kind of career we can have for him. And I just thought it would be a much more interesting twist to play as a guy that somebody put some time in to create, aside from just playing as myself. But you can do it any way you want. That's how you do it. So hopefully that works out for you. Let me know if you got any questions in the comments. Be sure and catch my MyLeague series, my fictional MyLeague. I am Coach 2K. I'll see you on the court in the next video. So thanks for watching.